Welcome back to my series of Batman reviews. Today we're talking about Batman Returns. Now, Batman Returns is regarded as better than the first one by most people, but I honestly think Batman 1989 is better. For some reason, I just couldn't get into this one. I just didn't think it was as well made or as good as the first Batman movie. But when I rewatched it recently, I learned to appreciate it way more. There were a lot of positives that I didn't recognize before, and I found myself to really enjoy this movie and have a great time of how silly and messed up this movie is. There are some problems that I still see in this movie, which we'll get to later, but let's just start talking about what makes this movie good. Okay, but before we get into anything else, we need to talk about this incredible cast. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, we need to get Michael Keaton out of the way because he's not my favorite Batman. While I don't hate him, I don't think he's the best interpretation we've had of Batman. He's not as good in this movie as he was in the first one, but he still does a pretty good job as his character. Now, this might be a little bit of an unpopular opinion, but I've never really gotten into Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman. I mean, she's pretty cool and all, but I just haven't really gotten into her that much. I don't really understand the appeal to her. What I do think she's underrated for is her performance as Selina Kyle. When I just rewatched this movie, I just realized how good Michelle Pfeiffer is as Selina Kyle, because Selina Kyle's character is written as kind of like this person that's losing their mind and doesn't know where their headspace is in after she gets resurrected by cats. And she does a really good job in here. My favorite part is where she's just talking to Bruce Wayne and Shrek about the kid that noticed that she didn't wear underpants to school, and then she just goes, "He's dead now." Like, that type of stuff is just where Michelle Pfeiffer really shines, I think. Christopher Walken is extremely good in this movie. I think he's just flat out hilarious in this movie. And his character is written as somewhat manipulative but pretty dumb person. And it just makes it even better. Like at the end when he's like, "Why, Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up as Batman?" That's kind of stuff is just really funny. Let's talk about my favorite actor in this movie, and one of my favorite actors of all time, Danny Devito. Oh my gosh, he is crazy and I love it. He's just so weird and evil. He's just so funny and has so many abrupt but extremely hilarious scenes. And I honestly think that Danny DeVito plays the Penguin better than Jack Nicholson does the Joker. Like, he is that good. So yeah, overall, it's really, really strong cast members in this movie. The set design is amazing. It's actually even better than the first one. I praised the first one because of how good it looked, but this one looks even better. And the Christmas tone really helps this movie because Gotham during Christmas just looks so cool. And when Batman's beating up people and you see the snow in the background and everything, it just looks so good. And I appreciate Tim Burton's style so much. And my favorite set designs of this movie are the sewers. The sewers are beautiful. Like, I know it sounds weird to be saying that sewers in a movie look beautiful, but it's just true in the case of Batman Returns. I love the glow they have in this movie. It just looks so pretty. And and the Penguin and his penguins look absolutely amazing in those shots. The tone is actually really good. I think that the first Batman's tone is better because it just matched a serious tone with the more lighthearted and funny tone just so well. But Batman Returns is in a pretty close second because the tone in this movie is just crazy, but it's so goofy at the same time. There are some very dark scenes in this movie, and probably some of the darkest in the franchise. But I honestly think the performances and the way it's just set up and everything make them super funny. I was smiling ear to ear for most of the movie. It was just a really, really great time. But here's where we get to the problems of the movie. The first problem is the story. Now, the story is interesting on paper. You got like Batman going up against the Catwoman and Penguin, and Selena Kyle being the person that Batman falls in love with, but he doesn't know that Selena Kyle is Catwoman. That's an interesting story. Those are really great storylines on paper, but I don't think the way they executed it was really good. Like, I think this movie changes direction every 15 minutes, and to the point where it actually got kind of distracting and confusing. Like, one moment, Batman and Catwoman will be fighting on top of a roof, but then Batman just punches her down the roof, and then she lands in a truck full of kitty litter. And then we're moving on to the Penguin and Christopher Walken. It just felt really abrupt and kind of like a way to get the story going. And I don't think it did the characters justice in that aspect. But I'm just not a huge fan of the romance. I know, I said that the Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne relationship, while flawed, held a special place in my heart because it was kind of cute and everything. But I'm just not really I don't really buy Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle's relationship. I know there's scenes that establish Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle's kind of like relationship, but I don't see them just like chatting and everything, and then the next scene they just start dating. I just really can't buy into that. But overall, Batman Returns, while flawed and definitely not my favorite Batman movie, is still extremely fun. It's certainly lower on the list of my favorite Batman movies, but I had a really good time with it, even if it isn't as well made or as good as the first Batman movie. But if you can ignore that, you should have a good time, flaws and all. So in the end, I'm going to give Batman Returns a 7 out of 10. Guys, thanks so much for watching. You can check out my other channels in the description, and you can check out my letterbox if you want to. I'll see you guys later. Bye. It's electric. I'm